Welcome to the Studio Life. Today, we're going to talk about products, rotations, and turntables. It's huge for you, huge for the client, and for the studio, it is amazing when it comes to creativity. So chill with us today as we talk about turning stuff round and round.
3, 2, 1.
Here we go!
Hey everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Studio Life. I am Mark Nicholas. We're here at Manhattan Beach Studios. I mean, this is our home. This is the studio. Today we've been painting the walls. We've been putting up shelves. We've been doing all of the things that we're required to do in order to run a studio because, you know, what they say, studios don't build themselves. So here we are, and I wanted to take some time and talk to you about one of the technologies we use. One of the techniques we use, really. We use a lot of different technologies for it. And I wanted to talk mostly about our rotation. We do 360 product rotation, or we do rotations for any number of other purposes, and we use a couple of different tools. And so if you think about what a rotation is, it's any time you're able to take something and turn it around. And why would you do that? Well, we do it for a couple of different reasons. If we're trying to create something interactive on the web, we might turn something around so a prospective customer could see all sides of the object. On the other hand, we have a job that has huge pieces of things that are upwards of several hundred pounds. And there we're simply using a turntable to rotate and position the object. And that saves us, it saves our backs, it saves our arms, it lets us shoot longer in the day, get more products done, get more SKUs out of the way, and therefore get paid more. And so these turntables, they really work in a lot of different ways. And in the world of stop motion, not only can we control from a computerized standpoint what we're doing, but we can actually combine that with other technologies, such as a slider. Because sliding and rotating is beautiful. I mean, it's just amazing. So, you know, every great video that you see that has a commercial might have a little slide and a little turn. And so there you go. One of the things we invented here, we call the Crony, the Photo Crony, is this wheel. And we have this wheel that is designed to be connected to motors and computer controlled. So we're able to take single photos and combine them into something interactive. And so what happens is the computer sends a signal to rotate the wheel and then fire the camera, and then rotate the wheel and fire the camera. And that way we're able to get an exact number of images in the circle, and we know that there's no motion blur and everything looks great. Now, our Photo Crony is designed to do some other things as well. For instance, we've got a couple of different pieces of acrylic here. We've got white, we've got black, but we also have blues and reds and greens and everything else, and we simply take those pieces and pop them on, and we have a good background here. You can combine this obviously with something that's pure white in the background for easy masking, or something pure black for something coming out of the shadows, and do something really, really nice, and all the while crafting the floor, the reflection, the shadow, things like that. You can even get acrylic that's both matte and gloss. Now this is glossy on both sides, which creates a bit of a reflection, but we could go pure matte, which just kind of creates the object coming out of the shadows. Same thing with white. Sometimes we want to see a shadow, sometimes we want to see a reflection. And so that tells us how we're doing this. One of the great things about this is that you see the light move across the object as you go. Even yesterday I was asked whether or not we use a strobe. When we're shooting still photography here in the studio, we really like to use flash. It helps us all the time. It helps us craft the light, modify the light, aim the light, help craft the shadows and things like that. Now, we never, ever, ever use flash when it comes to rotating objects in still photography because of one reason. No flash is perfect. The little tiny fluctuations in the flash strength will cause flicker. And so as we rotate an object, you would see those little exposure differences. And as far as I'm concerned, they're terrible. They're gross. I hate them. So we don't use flash. When we do this stuff, we use constant lighting. We take the extra time to set the lights the way we want. We're also less perfect when we set these lights, however, because we like the fact that as a circular object rotates, you're going to see different highlights and things will change over time. the shadow will stretch or constrain. You'll see all those things. And so we don't try to light it perfect for every angle at once. We try to get a really good looking angle, and then we rotate the object like it's in the real world. And so that is exactly how we like to do it, and it tends to work very well for us. This is our small turntable. It is designed for a great deal of weight. We have points on the end that allow us to set extension points, so we can do a lot of different things with this. We don't just have to rotate a product, we can rotate a camera. We can put a 5/8 inch extender out here, hang a camera off the end, or we can put a flash on the other end, or we can put a magic arm holding a background that moves, and so we're able to create light motion. We're able to position an object above this and then rotate around that object. There's so many things we could do with this, but the way that this was built was to take advantage of another interesting strength, and it's the reason why we were able to actually get a patent on this. It's in how we position the object. This has, when you position an object and you rotate it, you want it to rotate exactly around a particular point. So if you were to screw this down in the center, you're getting in the way of the position point where you want everything to rotate around. That's fine for some things, but let's say you want to position an object above it, or you want to hang an object underneath it. So we actually have a special patented bolt that we use that allows us to take a wire and send it right down into the middle. And this allows us to position an object in a lot of different ways. And so a simple spool of electrical household wire and a wire cutter, and we could take advantage of any positioning tool that we want. And we cut a hole exactly in the center of our acrylic pieces. And so we're able to take advantage of how we position our objects. Now, because it's wire, we're able to then, not going in all the way. And there we go. Problem solved. We also have a really interesting bolt that goes in diagonal and can lock that wire in, so you can hang this upside down and there's nothing that can pull that wire out. But from here, we can take this wire and use it to position anything any way that we want. And so it allows us to craft that perfect rotation around a particular point. Or if you were hanging it upside down, you can simply take a piece of line, you can dangle a little eye around, with an eyelet, you can take fishing line and hang it down, you can take the wire, wrap it around an object, or of course, you can utilize the camera to rotate around an object. So these rotations, they work very, very well when it comes to how we craft and position our objects, how we create platforms. Anything that's 1/8 of an inch thick or less can simply slide in. It can be a fixed point. So from a photographic standpoint, it really helps us position our objects. Before we go away, I just want to say that we're not done talking about rotations, because taking these pictures is just the very tip of the iceberg. We're going to have to come back and demonstrate the way we go about processing these pictures, because it's completely different than the norm. We'll also talk about the way we combine it with the slider as well as the rotation, because again, it's different than the norm. And if you could do that stuff, you can really take advantage of a ton of creative opportunities. But it's the processing, man. Processing 360s can be quite a beast. And I just want to be able to take the time to walk you through it. And we will. We're going to cover that, we promise. And so if you subscribe, you will find out when we do finally get around to that video, which hopefully won't be too long. But if you want to hear something, you drop it there in the words underneath the picture, and we'll get to it. So anyway, once again, goodbye. It's Mark, Manhattan Beach Studios. We'll see you.
3, 2, 1.